the beginning, how to begin a script. All you'll need is a pen and paper to write down notes. If you have a script writing software, that is absolutely brilliant. If you don't, you can just use that pen and paper you have. It doesn't really matter. You'll be writing your script after you learn all the information, as we want to teach you everything and then give you the chance to be creative. This will be primarily based around theatre scripts, so if you're looking for film scripts, this isn't the right place. However, some stuff does transition over. We would love for you to send feedback to us after you've watched everything, as it can much help us in our journey to being better at creating these things. Sit back, enjoy yourself, and let's start. How to begin a script. So, what are you actually writing about? If you know and don't know about what you're actually writing about, you might want to consider a few of these things. First is genre. Genre is the framework in which a story is built upon, most of the time. You might know a couple of these genres, such as action, disaster, romance, superhero, sci-fi. The list goes on. Pause the video and think of the last 3 theatre productions that you have seen. What were the genres of these? Did they have multiple genres? Did the genres contrast each other? Pause the video and have a think about this. Right. By now, you should have been able to identify at least 3 genres in those 3 theatre productions. Now, you can choose one of those genres, preferably your favourite one, and then you can use that in your script. You can always change the genre as you are creating the script. It's up to you about everything that the story is. You can change it later, you can change it at any time whatsoever, just before you've written the script, as it might get a bit clumsy. Let's lead into our second point, genre tropes. Genre tropes are common things that happen in every piece of production that is about a certain genre. The most noticeable one of these is in a murder mystery. Somebody always dies, and somebody always finds the body. Pause the video and find 2 theatre productions and identify the genre tropes in those. Now you've hopefully identified some genre tropes. Let's go back to your genre. Can you think of a couple genre tropes that are in your genre? If you can, you might want to fall back on these and use them as the starting for your story, as you are only creating one scene. If you were doing a murder mystery, you might want that first scene to be somebody finding the body. Now, let us look at the plot. The plot is essentially the entire story, and now this is the fun part. The plot is everything that happens from the beginning to the end. If you want to continue your story further than just one scene, I would suggest having a look at a story mountain, as it does create a good increase and decrease for your story, and a good pathway for you to tread across. Now, one thing that might help you at the beginning of your story is an inciting incident. An inciting incident is something positive or negative that happens to your main character without any warning. Now, going back to the murder mystery analogy, if your main character were to find the body, this would be the inciting incident. Now, we have gone over quite a lot, so I would suggest pausing the video and writing down a few ideas for you to use. Right, as a quick overview, we did genre, genre tropes, and we had to look at the plot. Now, follow me to the stage, as we look at the ins and outs of script writing. Let's get a break from the creative process, and let's move on to the rules of script writing. As a reminder, you are meant to create a single scene from your script. One thing that might help you with this is a software. I personally use Celtx. However, any sort of online app would work fine if it's tailored towards script writing. If you have a pen and paper and don't have that, that's completely fine. However, it will just mean that the process is slightly harder. Right, now, let's get on to the rules of script writing. The rules of the script. Personally, first, I would put the title. The title has its own page, and it relatively always looks like this. Next, we have a character list. I would put a space for there to be a character list, and then fill it out at the end, as you might have unforeseen characters or extras you didn't know you would have beforehand. Next, I would put act. Now, you will have act 1 as you are starting your script. And an act looks like this. Next, we can put a scene heading. Now, a scene heading is always to show where the scene starts and when the scene ends and when a new scene begins. A scene should always start at the right point and end at the right point, and it should feel as if the story has progressed. Next, there's dialogue. Dialogue has many elements to it. However, the basics of it always looks like this. Attached to dialogue is characters. Now, a character looks like this. Actions. Actions are something where you want something to happen, but you don't say it vocally, or you want a direction to happen. Actions are just directions. An action could be somebody moving from one side of the stage to the other, or the curtains going down. Now we know what titles, character lists, extras, acts, dialogue, scene headings, and actions are, including characters. All of these things might contain things called stage terminology or theatre terminology. Now, what is stage terminology or theatre terminology? Now, let's head to the stage as I teach you about these things. Stage terminology. You might want to use it in your script. You might want to use it for a character moving, or you might want to use it for maybe the stage changing or there being different scenery. These are some different types of stage terminology. This is upstage. This is downstage. This is stage left. And this is stage right. So where's this? Upstage left. This is center stage. And now, where's this? Downstage right. You may want your character to come on stage. You may also want your character to go off stage. This is the fourth wall, the imaginary barrier that exists at the end of the stage between the characters and the audience. If a character talks to the audience, which they don't tend to do, this is called breaking the fourth wall. A couple other things you might want to consider are lighting, sound, and set. So, we've been over a lot. So what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video and combine everything. Think of lots of elements and just write them down. So, as an overview, we did the rules of script writing, stage terminology, and had a bit of a debrief. Now, join me backstage as we start to look at the last leg of the process. Hello, you've made it to the finale. Good job. Now, let's look at something that makes a script unique. Let's look at the characters. A character is the people in your script, or somebody in your script. Pause the video and think of 3 characters in 3 different theatre productions. Now you have your characters, you can think of a few things which you might want to implement as your own characters in your script. First off, you might want to take things from your genre that you have. If you remember what that was, you can grasp a few ideas from that and really build on your character. One thing you might also want to add is background. Background is everything that happened before the script's origin. You might call back to this during the script. However, it's up to you. One thing you might want to use to enhance the way your audience perceives characters is the way they talk. Do they use slang? And what could you do to enhance their performance? Well, you could, when they're talking and using certain emotions, you could change the lights to be different colors in order for the audience to understand the emotions that the characters are feeling. One thing you could also do is use everything you know about how you speak and act as if you're speaking in the character's mindset. This adds for a very naturalistic way of speaking. Your style of writing will be unique towards you, so the way your characters speak will be unique towards you. So if your character's writing feels a bit off, you might just want to change a few words and everything will be perfectly fine. Now, this is the final thing that you'll need to learn. It's the who, what, where, when, and why of writing. Now, you should always have these things in the back of your mind while writing a script. These things are who. Who are your characters? What? What is your story about? Where? Where is your story set? When? When is your story set? Why? Why are your characters doing what they are doing? If you don't know these things, consider them now. You've got everything you need now to make a brilliant script. But now, join me back at the beginning for your final instructions. You've made it to the end of your video. Good job. Now, I task you with the challenge of creating a single scene from your script, adding every element you know of it, and incorporating it into a magnificent piece of writing. You can also send this piece of writing to us with our email, and also we will send you back a questionnaire in order for us to gain some feedback. This has been amazing, and I hope you've learned a lot. I've been Theo, signing off.